Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. On the 18th of April of 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. This is the opening stanza of the famous poem Paul Revere's Ride by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. This poem depicts one of the most famous moments in our country's history. Paul Revere lives in infamy for his famous horse ride across the Massachusetts countryside the night of April 18, 1775. But did the events really play out the way Longfellow describes in his narrative poem? Longfellow praises Revere's courageous ride that alerted the locals of the approaching British army, which was on their way to Concord to secure an armory of colonial weapons. But Revere wasn't just alerting the locals. His specific mission was to notify Samuel Adams and John Hancock in Lexington of the British movements, but neither of these founding fathers were mentioned in Longfellow's poem. Did you realize that Paul Revere was captured by British troops shortly after leaving Lexington and never reached Concord? Did you know that Paul Revere was not acting alone as the sole messenger that night? He wasn't. In fact, there was a whole group of colonial patriots who risked their lives to alert the colonists living in the countryside of the coming British danger. So who were these other brave colonists that are not mentioned in Longfellow's poem but deserve the same reverence as Paul Revere? There was Dr. Joseph Warren, who sent the writers on their journey that night after receiving intelligence about the British invasion and intentions. There was John Larkin, the deacon, who lent Paul Revere his horse at the Old North Church. There was William Dawes, a tanner, who also rode to Lexington. He too was captured by the British before reaching Concord. And there was Samuel Prescott, the doctor, who was detained by British troops in Lexington, but escaped and forwarded the message onto the city of Concord, the writer who actually deserves much more recognition. This successfully completed the mission and alerted the Minutemen who thwarted the British surprise attack. All in all, there were 3 riders who reached Concord that night with the vital warning, but none of them were Paul Revere. And there were others who helped that fateful night. Maybe as many as 40 riders, but their names have been lost to history. All these colonial patriots played a pivotal role that night. If any of them had failed, the message never would have reached Concord, possibly leading to an early colonial defeat, instead of an important colonial victory that ignited a fire in the hearts of Yankees throughout the colonies and set the stage for the inevitable defeat of the British Army at Yorktown 6 years later. There is no question that Paul Revere played an important role the night of April 18, 1775. But let us not forget the other brave patriots who deserve our thanks for the part they played that night to defend the liberties we still hold in our hearts today.